Black Beacon just gave an update about the compensation rewards. If you're still not aware, Black Beacon, the new gacha game made by ex-Kuro Games devs, famous for their creation of Punishing Grey Raven and Wuthering Waves, just got themselves into a drama with the global players. In this video, I will be voicing out my opinion and showing some updates on the drama. With that, let's start the video. Essentially, the TLDR of this situation, to give you a little context if you haven't seen how it all started, is that basically Black Beacon had a problem with their game. But that's not what the players got angry about, because we all know that it's normal, right? It's the first month, and some bugs are bound to happen. What they did next was the problem. They decided to compensate the player base with some free pulls so that everyone would be happy. But the problem here is that the compensation was not equal. You see, the favorite child called the China server players got a free 5-star selector plus free pulls as compensation, but the global version of the game only got free pulls. As you can see, we got treated like we were the stereotypical middle child of the family. I mean, why can't they just give everyone the same thing? Did they think that we wouldn't notice? They should have seen this coming. Giving special treatment to a single group of people has proven throughout history to cause some kind of ruckus, and it won't change, and it will never change. I don't think that the common sense of the developers was working at the time they released the compensation. I mean, surely the team checked the compensation reward before releasing it. This means that at least the majority of the developers said, okay, this seems right, which makes this thing 10 times worse. I actually was willing to be a full-time Black Beacon content creator and was trying to ignore this issue because I was hoping that they would fix it and compensate us with the same amount. This was the reason why I haven't released a video about Black Beacon in the past week. The video is almost finished, but now I'm thinking twice if I still want to post it because of their actions in these past few weeks. I just don't want to be known as a content creator for a game that treats its players unfairly. It goes against my principles. I'm still hanging on to hope that Black Beacon will try to correct their action and continue to be fair to every player no matter what server they play in. When you look at the Reddit page at Reddit, all you'd see is players having an uproar trying to boycott the game. One more problem is that Black Beacon is forcing everyone to play on just the Google emulator. All other emulators, such as BlueStacks and Moomoo, have now been banned, and players who are playing on those emulators are not happy about it. I mean, you could say that the solution is just an easy fix of just downloading the Google Play emulator, but it is not about that. It's about having the freedom of choosing which emulator you prefer to play your games in. In the first place, this won't be a problem if they release the game with a mobile and PC version. But they decided to rush the release, which led to them missing out on potential players. Prejudice is also shown in this situation. Chinese emulators are allegedly all up and running, which adds to the players feeling that they're just getting treated as second-class citizens. I mean, popular gacha games like Genshin Impact are also known to only listen to the Chinese community, but at least they're equal when it comes to compensations for their player base because that's common sense. I'm starting to understand why they were either fired or left the Kuro Games company because clearly they have a very different vision and idea on how the player base should be treated. When we look at the Black Beacon app on the Play Store, it seems that the review bombing of the global players is successful. I've seen review bombing be used in the wrong way because I do think that review bombing an application too quickly and the player base didn't give them a chance to change their mind and fix the mistake would then lead to a point of no going back. What I mean is, the low review will stay even though the developers finally listen, which in turn would kill the potential of having new players in the game, which makes the game more irrelevant. But in Black Beacon's case, I think that this is completely deserved. We have given them enough time to see that the global players are not happy being treated as second-class citizens. As I said, this review bombing has a lifetime effect even if they do decide to change. Some of the stars may come back, but not all. So it is rare to see a game that got review bombed back in the 4-star rating on the Play Store. Even the biggest gacha game in the market called Genshin Impact couldn't resuscitate their star rating back to 4-star. What more for a new gacha game, where it hasn't even been a month since their release and the players are already mass quitting? This is the quickest gacha game death that I've ever seen, especially for an anticipated gacha game. You would think that we global players have suffered enough, right? Because here is an update to the situation, and you won't be happy once you hear that Black Beacon has an in-game event currently running in the Chinese server but not in the global servers. Keep in mind that we got the game a week before the Chinese server was open, so this feels intentional because, if anything, we should have the event first before the Chinese server if we look at it logically. Some are still coping and holding on to hope, thinking that maybe it's just a time zone difference, which is possible. But if it really is just for the Chinese server, then I won't have second thoughts about completely abandoning this game. I really don't understand the thinking that goes into the development team of this game. This is a wild guess, but I think they're thinking that the global players won't be spending as much as the Chinese server, which I think is highly unlikely. Here is an estimation of the revenue of Black Beacon in its first month. You would see that the global players have invested more in this game than the Chinese server, which should completely shut down this notion. I think we may just see the world record for the fastest end of service on a gacha game in 2025 because of the immaculate decision-making that the Black Beacon devs have made throughout the weeks that they released their game. This situation is extremely sad at the same level that it is disappointing. This game had so much potential. A copium scenario of why I think that developers are not able to hear the cries of the global players is simply because they don't have a person dedicated to searching around our social media, since the social media in China is different from ours. We have TikTok, they have Douyin, we have Elon Musk, they have Yi Long Ma. China has their own version of the global application, which could potentially be the reason why there's no answer from the developers. That is the hardest cope that I have right now. Oh wait, I think we might have to cancel that because of this response from this post in Reddit. This Black Beacon mod account completely understands English after commenting on a post about a ticket allegedly being deleted by Black Beacon, so they are definitely watching and just enjoying how much we are mauling about the situation. Days after that, they released this update and changes about the compensation. The compensation is now coming, including the free 5-star selector, and they now have changes to see how the global players react to every update. But you know what I say to that? Because of the backlash, they decided to change it, so at first they thought that giving free 5-star selectors to only China was the right thing to do for some reason. Also, one Redditor said, "I guess all of the refund was too much for Black Beacon to handle, so they decided to be fair." Logically thinking, this shouldn't even happen in the first place because this is such an obvious mistake. If this is how they think of how much headache this will cause us with their decisions in the future. Yes, they fixed the mistake, and good for them, but it just took way too long to be addressed. This mod that posted the compensation updates is seen replying to other posts days prior with perfect English. I just don't understand how this wasn't relayed to the developers as fast as possible. This is just way too late, especially for a new gacha game, because players are able to quit without second thoughts, because we have not invested too much time in the gacha game to care enough. I just hope that they realize how good they had it in their launch, even though I think that it is too late. What about you? Are you quitting the game or still willing to give it a chance? Leave it in the comments. Even though I said all of those things, I still think that there is still a market for this game. Players who are willing to take all the BS or just casual players who don't even know what's happening in the community. It just feels so disappointing to see a company treat their players unfairly.